What's up, YouTube? Today we're gonna run through some drills and see what the word is. There will be some nicotine in this video, so if you're a youngin', get on, exit stage left, do what it do. This is for the grown-ups only, all right? So, today, we're gonna be working on some dry fire, all right? Don't take a lot, obviously. Make sure you got some empty magazines, right? Make sure you ain't got nothing in your pipe. And we will be doing some with the AR as well. Not necessarily just dry firing, but little things I like to do and practice on to make sure that, I'm always on target, I'm always raising up as fast as possible and all that good business. So let's get into it. Kind of just get into the basics, If you're starting out, you just bought your new holster, you just bought your first firearm, something like that, you know what I'm saying? All you want to do is start off slow, right? If you carry outside, out of waistband, or if you carry inside your waistband, you're gonna want to start off slow, right? I don't have an out of waistband, so we're not even gonna waste time on that. But specifically for your in waistband carry, this is more or less how I started. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, everyone wants to be the fastest, fucking getting down range, getting sighted up and all that. But biggest thing you can do is build your muscle memory. And the best way you do that is going through the motions nice and slow. And I'm gonna show you just for an example, right? Get a decent planet on your feet. You know what I'm saying? I like to start off feet even with my shoulders. You know what I'm saying? So we're just gonna do something real nice and slow, real nice and easy. Raise up that shirt, get a good grip on your firearm, raise up, come into position and push forward, right? And every time you do that, make sure you have a good solid grip, also known as a death grip. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna take one hand, get it right as high up as you can. I like to kind of get it nice and even with that beaver tail back there. And you're gonna wanna seat it very, very deep, okay? Seat it deep, and you see how I'm fucking squeezing? That's exactly what you wanna do, right? More or less too, the best thing to work on as well is gonna be your hand placement. And with a Glock, it's gonna be different for certain guns, right? They're gonna have certain things kind of in the way. You might have a drop lever, you might have a safety in your way, depending on your firearm, right? This is a Glock clone, it's a Palmetto State dagger, right? And you hold it the same way you hold the Glock, right? So what you're gonna wanna do, high rise grip, right? Seated all the way into that little fucking lip there. Then you're gonna take that second hand and you're gonna get it as close to your trigger guard as possible, right? You don't wanna be like too high where you're kind of cupping your trigger guard like so. You wanna be just right under it, right? The only thing you want cupping is probably gonna be your index finger. Again, this is my preference, but if you have a better preference or an easier preference, go with that. Go with what makes more sense and the most comfortability for you. And what I like to do on my PSA, it's got a nice little rise right there. It's got a little bump right next to the takedown lever, okay? So I will take my second hand for leverage, wrap it just like so, slightly cupping with my index finger, and I'm gonna rest it right on that little raised bit right there. And you're gonna take that back thumb. If you shoot with it up, that's fine, but I found it to be more accurate just like so, right? Just laying it down nice and light. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gotta be fucking shoving down into your thumb, but you just want it nice and comfortably laid down, okay? And it should look something like this, right? No finger on the trigger, nothing like that. But you're gonna push this in and make sure that it's seated all the way back into the back of your hand as a support. Not fucking some extra shit, but just you're supporting. This is your support hand, okay? And you're gonna wanna push your thumb, your supporting hand thumb there, in just slightly so it's nice and tight. And then you will rest your shooting hand just right on top there, okay? Not shoving down, but just resting it, okay? This is about what it should look like. And even my other fingers down here, they're sitting right in the grooves in between of my other hand, right? Boom. Squeeze with your shooting hand, support and push in with your second hand, okay? Lay them thumbs down just like so. And then just push out. You don't want to shove all the way out because that's just going to be funky and it's going to be a little uncomfortable shooting. So you want to just give yourself a little bit of wiggle room right there. You don't want your elbows out like this, but you want them just slightly just out like so, okay? Not straight, not squished in, but right in the middle, okay? And you can even see my muscles right there kind of flexing a bit. That's gonna show that you have a good death grip, a good handle on your gun as far as handling the recoil and also just supporting, right? Because even in my other hand, you see them muscles popping out. You know what I'm saying? Not trying to flex, not trying to be funky, you know what I'm saying? But just, you know, you want it nice and tight, right? So we're gonna go through the motions again. Again, we're safe and clear. Nothing in the magazine. This is for training purposes only, and for people to get a good, decent start on whatever they are trying to carry, trying to do as far as in the waistband specifically, right? So, show clear. Boom. We're gonna leave it cocked, ready to rock, okay? Because what else you're gonna do as well after you draw, again, going through the motions, getting that muscle memory down, raise that shirt up, pull your firearm, get your hand placement nice and right, push forward, leave a little bit of wiggle there, and then we're gonna work on your trigger pull. Now, why trigger pull is gonna be so important, especially dry firing practice, you don't wanna sit here and wrap your whole finger. That's a no-go. And again, we're gonna show clear, just so everybody knows we're being safe, right? We'll even drop the mag for this part, right? You don't full wrap, okay? That's a no-go. Because what's gonna happen is whenever you're pulling that trigger, right, it's gonna pull to the left. That was a bit dramatic, but just for, you know, educational purposes, it's gonna pull to the left, right? You don't want that. So, finger placement is gonna be half on, half off. You want the tip of your finger either smack all the way across there, stopping at the crease, or you could even go a little bit and just do halfway, okay? That's gonna, even halfway might be a little bit odd because that might even pull it off to the opposite side as well. So you want your tip of your finger, right here in the middle, and then you'll bring it up and watch your irons, all right? That'll tell you everything you need to know as far as where you're lacking, what you need to practice on, how you need to compensate with your support hand. So say hypothetically you do wrap your whole finger, right? If I were to do that in that situation, I would use my support hand and push with that support thumb, give it just a little bit more tension on that pistol. That way I keep everything straight and I don't have to overcompensate whenever fucking shooting. I don't have to shoot left. I don't have to do none of that, right? So we're gonna go through it again. Again, finger placement is gonna be a big denominator in this, or a big fucking doing that brain fart and shit again, but it's gonna be an issue, okay? So that's why we're going slow through the motions and gaining said muscle memory, all right? So raise that shirt, boom, draw, come out right there. And if you got it like that, go ahead and keep your finger on the trigger as long as possible. Me personally, I don't try to put my finger on the trigger until I get my sights lined up, but whatever's preferable, okay? So we're gonna run through it again, one more time. Raise that shirt up, draw that pistol, support hand, nice and tight. Finger placement on the trigger, line them sights up, and pull her back slow. Again, always make sure your weapon is cleared when dry firing. That is exactly the definition of dry firing. It is firing your weapon without any rounds in it, okay? If you're fancy, you got it like that, and you got snap caps, cool. Load them snap caps, practice rounds, not brass, but they sell little aluminum or plastic rounds that you can load into your magazines and call it good, right? So we're gonna run through it again, all right? Raise that shirt up, draw your firearm, keep that finger off the trigger until you're ready, line them sights up, slowly pull that trigger, right? And don't try to pull it too hard. And this is what I was talking about, watch your irons, right? Because if you're pulling too hard or you're smacking, you know what I'm saying? Like straight smacking that trigger, you're gonna have a dip. Or if you've if you've laid over your finger too far, you're gonna pull off to the side, all right? That's what we're watching for, okay? Line them sights up. Obviously, I've practiced enough. I know where to put my finger at and everything, but for you youngins and everybody getting into this brand new, this is what you wanna look for, all right? Watch where your iron sights dip. That's why we're going through this slow, because not only can you make sure your irons stay nice and lined up, it'll also, if you're not keeping them lined up, it will very well show whenever you are practicing your dry firing, right? So let's go again, all right? Feet, shoulder length, right? Raise that shirt, draw that firearm, bring it up, pull up, push out, line it up, boom, right? Nice and easy, nice and slow, okay? Let's go again, all right? You do this as many times as you want, all right? So long as you got the time, you ain't bugging nobody, nobody's fucking driving you crazy, or you got things to do. Practice, 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 all right? Just like my last video I was saying, be practical and practice, okay? Raise that shirt up, pull it out, line up them sights, boom, slow trigger pull, okay? Let's go again. And the more you do this, right, I say probably go 5-10 minutes drawing slow, right? 5-10 minutes drawing slow, get nice and warmed up, get your muscles used to going through the motions, right? Nice and slow, boom, okay? After about them 5-10 minutes, you can start speeding it up, but don't go too fast, right? Going too fast, you start making mistakes, you start getting sloppy, and you start fucking up, all right? So we can start speeding it up, all right? My timer's at like 13 minutes now. You know, we've gone through the motions. We know where our firearm is at, depending on where you want to carry. It could be over here, 3 o'clock, you know what I'm saying? It don't matter. So let's try it again. 1, 2, 3. Boom. I did forget to reset my trigger on that one, but we went through the motions, right? Follow through. If you ever fuck up, you ever miss a step, follow through, because adrenaline's going to be running high in a high stress situation. You're going to fuck up, but you need to learn to follow through, okay? And there will be mistakes made in this process, and I'm going to walk you through it and also show you why it's so important to follow through, all right? So we're going through the motions again. Let's make sure that she's reset so we don't make that mistake again, right? Drop that shirt. Let's speed it up a little bit. All right, see how I didn't pull my trigger until I was lined up? We don't want any missed shots, all right? Every round that leaves your firearm is liable to you, okay? Whatever you hit. So if you're just willy-nilly, pop, 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 nothing's lined up, it's gonna be an issue. You're gonna get in some trouble, all right? Do not fire that round off until your sights are lined up, okay? So let's run it again. That one was a little bit right, see? We're going faster, we're starting to figure out where our mistakes are, all right? But we're gonna keep speeding up little by little until we get it down at the right speed, okay? 1, 2, 3. Getting better, getting better. Practice makes perfect, all right. Let's run it again. Standing here, feet at shoulder length. Boom, see? Nice and easy. And don't feel like you got to match me, because I've been doing this for a couple of years now. I'm not going to sit here and be like I'm every day, all the time. Yes, I lack on my training as well. But whenever I train, I'm in that motherfucker for about an hour, going through the motions, going through the positions, everything like that, okay? Starting off slow, warming that body up, right? Getting that muscle memory, and then we're running through it fast and seeing where we're fucking up, right? That one was a little left, all right? So we need to adjust. I need to bring my support hand farther in, right? Bring that support thumb a little bit farther in on the rest, okay? That one was right on. All right, let's go again. Oop, see, I didn't follow through. Didn't follow through. Missed my shirt, slipped up. Supposed to follow through. Do not get discouraged. Just try again. All right, run through the motions again. Right? Let's go. Oh, follow through, follow through. Yep, see that? My thumb, I was going in, my thumb was down, right? My main thumb was down. My hand came in and I had to adjust, but I followed through. I fixed my mistake and I finished the shot, all right? That is exactly what we're looking for, okay? Let's go. You see that? Better, better. Face your mistake. Remember where you went wrong. Don't get discouraged. Don't no halfway doing it. All right, follow through. Even I don't follow through sometimes, but that's why we're doing this. That's why we're practicing. That's why we're getting better. All right, let's go. That one was high. All right, so I need to bring my muzzle down a little bit. Got to bring that muzzle down. All right, let's go. Slipped a little bit, but we followed through. Let's go. There we go. Boom. Getting back on track. Getting back on track. There we go. Took a little second, but we fixed it, right? That one was high left. Dead on. See, fix your mistake. Muscle memory. I cannot stress it enough. Let's go. Boom. Boom. Ooh, caught on the shirt, but we followed through. Caught on the shirt, but we followed through. Always follow through. Let's go. Almost a little bit high, but we're still on target. Let's bring it down just a little bit. Took a second to find the sights. So whenever that starts happening and you start really wiggling, wibble-wobbing, it's time to slow it back down because we're losing our muscle memory, all right? So if you're going too fast, obviously, yes, I just said that about high stress, but we don't want to make mistakes. We need to go to speed that gets us just right, okay? So we're gonna slow it down. All right, slow it back down. This is how you get good. Go fast, and then you start seeing what mistakes you're making and bring it back down slow so you can build that muscle memory. There we go. Getting easier. Let's go. Boom. All right. Here we go. Slow is fast and fast is slow. Let's get it. So we've done enough with the single holster, right? We're gonna knock off this light bearing. And then we're gonna move on to the sidecar, right? This, not this one, I'm taking this one off. Boom. This is a sidecar. This is gonna give you the chance to carry an extra round, extra rounds, extra magazine, all that for practice. We're gonna load it up. Me personally, I always have my rounds facing my firearm, right? Because whenever I pull it out, it'll be just right. Slam it in there, okay? So let's get this bad boy on. Let me step off so y'all don't see me naked.
Why are we miserable? It's not very. Yeah, it could be worse. I mean, who could
All right.
have rows and stuff? Oh, thank God I forgot about it.
Let me find my extra magazine.
We should just put it all on down, right?
All right. So now we're gonna practice draw, muscle memory, and reloads. All right. We're gonna start off slow. Okay. Now this is another thing. If you do not carry flush mags, you're gonna have to compensate for your shirt. Okay. That shirt is gonna like to get caught up, as you can see. So if you're used to pulling in the middle and you choose to go to a sidecar, you're gonna have to practice adjusting your draw. Right. So as you can see, I just pulled the middle. That's usually about where I pull whenever I'm just doing single light bearing, right? Or regular holster, whatever you want to call it. My shirt is causing an issue. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring our hand position a little bit over more to the side, right? Not in the middle, a little more into the side. We're gonna raise up so that we can miss that. It don't really matter if it gets caught on this because you can always push past it, right? So let's go. Okay, starting off slow. Raise up, draw, in position, line up them sights, pull slow. All right, reset, drop it back in. We'll just do regular drawing at first and then we'll get into the reloads after drawing, and you know what I'm saying? So bear with me, here we go. Raise up, draw your pistol, get into position, boom. See? Nice and simple. All right, that's how we like it. Nice and simple. Here we go. Draw, position, drop it. Okay, reset because we don't want to make no mistakes. Okay, raise up, draw, drop. Okay, starting off slow. Slow is fast and fast is slow. Let's get some nicotine real quick. Shouts out to the Suicide Boys, by the way. They just came to town the other day. Saw them for the first time. It was lit. You go and check them out. All right. Drop. In position. Drop. All right. Drop. In position. Drop. Okay. Now, personally, I like to mostly do this in the mirror, and what I will do whenever I'm aiming down sights, I will aim for my own head in the reflection of the mirror. Because whenever we want them shots, we want them on target, we want to be lined up, we want them to be kill shots. Not to be radical or crazy or anything like that, but if we're drawing our firearm, it's not going to be to harm nobody, all right? It's going to be that one shot, one kill, all right? Even if you need to drop 3, we want to aim for critical points of contact, okay? So let's go. Draw. Line it up. Drop. Okay. Draw. Line it up. Drop. All right. Building that muscle memory. Draw. Line it up. Drop. Okay. Draw. Line it up. Drop. Okay, that one dipped a little bit low left, so we gotta fix that a little bit. Okay, here we go. Draw, line it up, drop. Better. Okay. Draw, line it up, drop. Okay. All right. So enough of that slow. All right. Now we're gonna move into the reload. All right. Again. We're gonna go easy, so we can get that muscle memory, start adding a new little action into our process, and we're gonna integrate it. All right, here we go. Again, shoulder length, foot position, right? Again, we might not ever have a perfect footing, so if you have the time, go ahead and add some walking, go ahead and add some turning around, you know what I'm saying? Just do some funky shit, like fucking, I don't know, get creative, you know, because we're never gonna be able to be one foot in front of the other, perfect fucking stance, draw that, you know what I'm saying? We're not always gonna have that. You might get caught off guard, so practice, you know, being caught off guard. But right now, that'll be a drill for another day. Right now, this is what we're focusing on. We're gonna add in the reload, okay? Draw, bring it up, line it up, drop. Drop that mag, add the next one, boom, okay? Reset your firearm, pick up your mag, and let's start over, right? Here we go. Draw, line it up, drop mag, pull other one, reset, boom, okay? Now generally if you run out of a mag, hopefully your magazine locks back, but it don't always lock back, right? That's why I'm not going through the motion fucking resetting that, because I'm not gonna be the one resetting it. And worst case, you add another mag, you're gonna have to rack it anyway, okay? So we're gonna go through it again, pick up that spare mag, going through the motions, right? Here we go. Draw, line it up, drop the mag, add new, boom, right? We followed through, had a little bit of a hiccup, got a little snagged up, and sometimes your magazine will get caught on your little mag well there. I don't have a mag well, but that's more or less what this is, right? Where you insert your magazine. That's what I struggled with first getting into it, right? You might come in, oh shit, gotta adjust, you know, a little funky time, but that's why we practice, right? Again, you see how my magazine is positioned, facing inward towards my firearm? That makes it easier to add in, right? Because say you have it backwards, right? You pull it, and you gotta flip it, okay? You don't want it backwards, you want it all in perfect position so that you can draw it and be as efficient as possible, okay? So here we go. Draw, line it up, drop it, add the new, snagged again, but we follow through, right? Follow through, follow through, follow through, follow through, okay? Drop that mag in there, boom. Here we go. Draw, line it up, drop, new mag, that was smoother, drop again, okay? Reset. And as you get more comfortable going through these motions, adding more muscle memory, you can start speeding up the process once again. Again, we're not gonna be perfect. This is what we're doing this for. This is to practice to get better, okay? Shedding all that fucking insecurity, shedding all those fuck ups, everything, all right? So let's go again. See? Had a little snag, had a little hiccup, but we followed through. High stress, get that adrenaline running and start practicing through your fuck ups. All right, let's go. See, almost slipped out that one. Almost didn't have a good grip on my magazine. So what that tells me, I gotta slow it down, okay? Granted, high stress, you're gonna wanna move as fast as possible, but the more you get that muscle memory, the more you're gonna be accurate with every motion that you have coming, okay? Let's go. Again, having hiccups, that's why we're practicing. Let's go. That was a little bit to the right, but we followed through. Always follow through, all right? That would have been a liability on my side, okay? That's why we practice. That's why we're getting better. Let's go. Another thing, I'm doing something wrong, and I'm about to tell you. I'm not keeping my eye on my target as I'm reloading, okay? That's what you always want to do. You don't want to take your eyes off of your target. You always want to track them. You always want to watch them where they're moving. Because buddy, you might have finished the mag in front of you, but buddy ducked off to the left. So you always want to keep your eyes out. Boom. Eyes front. Boom. See? Even got a wonky grip on that one as well. But we followed through, and that's the most important part. Okay? Here we go. Took my eyes off again. Fucked up again, right? Shedding these fuck ups. Shedding these fuck ups. Here we go. That one was low right. That reload was low right. I was dead on in the first mag. That second mag after the reload, I was a little low right. Okay? So let's go again. There we go. See? Took my eyes off, but we did it faster. No snags, no hiccups, but I took my eyes off. That's something you got to take into account. Practice, right? Here we go. Followed through. Had a little bit of hiccup. We followed through. I'm going to say it. Y'all going to get tired of me. Y'all going to get tired of me repeating, but it's the truth. Let's get it. Here we go. You can tell I'm rusty, but it's all right. Practice, practice, practice. Boom. See? Getting a little bit nicer. Took eyes off a little bit too soon, but it's all right. See? Here we go. All of those shots were fucking right. God damn. All right. Too many fuck ups in a row, slow it down. Okay, so that's exactly what we're gonna do. Okay, here we go. All right, a little bit slower, but still a little too fast. Okay, here we go. And you should work up a little bit of a sweat. If you ain't sweating, you ain't working. Let's get it. Boom. Okay, a little bit smoother. Still had a little bit of snag hiccup getting that mag in. But that's why we practice. Practice, practice, practice. Smooth as butter. A little millisecond we weren't lined up, had to adjust, but we fixed the issue, right? Here we go. Took my eyes off, shouldn't have done that. See, I was rushing. I'm American. Come on now. Here we go. Kept them eyes on that time. Let's slow it back down. Still rushing. Here we go. Much, much better, right? Much, much better. Again, I'm not the best at this, but this is why we do this, to be the best, to get better. Here we go. A little bit high whenever I drew that second mag, but we fixed it and we got back on target, okay? Here we go. Boom! That was probably the best run yet. Come on now. Here we go. Now we're cooking with oil. Oop, snagged. Followed through. Followed through. That was sloppy, but we followed through. Come on now. Let's go. Here we go again. Boom. Another good run. Another good run. Another good run. Here we go. Ready? Boom. All right. Actually, I'm starting to have some fun with this one, so we're gonna run a few more, and then we'll move on to this little ARP. All right, here we go. Boom! Here we go. Here we fucking go. Now we're getting somewhere. Let's go. Took a little second finding the mag, but we got it. Here we go. Practice, practice, practice. Oh, snag. Follow through. Follow through. Boom. Took my eyes off. Damn. All right, here we go. Here we go. Let's go. Boom. Nice. Let's go again. Get the fuck in there. Damn. All right. Here we go. Oh. Low left. We follow through. All right. Accountability. Liability. Responsibility. All right, let's go. Took my eyes off. Shouldn't have done that. All right. Two more. Two more, we'll call it good. All right. Here we go. Missed the mag, fucked it up. All right, maybe we'll do two more after this one. Don't be afraid to call your fuck ups, man. All right, everybody's, see, even me. I ain't even the best at this shit. Trust me. Imagine how many times the best did fuck up and fucking had to run this shit over and over and over again, right? Boom. Here we go. Two more. Two more. All right? Let's adjust these fucking pants. Here we go. All right, let's run. Nice. Decent. I'm not gonna say nice, it was decent. All right, here we go. Trying again. See? Repositioning that fucking belt. Threw you off. Threw you off. That's why we practice. That's why we practice. Here we go. Better. 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 Here we go. There we go. All right, let's go again. Little wonky grip on the mag, but follow through. Follow through. All right, here we go. Last run. Let's make it a good one. Boom. All right. That's enough of that. Okay. We're gonna move on to this ARP. All right. Get some nicotine first. Damn. Let's give it one more smack. I need this AC. All right. Back to it. So, this is the ARP. All right. Won't spend too much time on this. Drop that brace. Unhook this strap, right? Boom. Show clear. I don't know if you can really see that. There ain't shit in there. Be extra, all right? Extra is good. Extra is safe. Safe direction. Boom. All right. Let's get this red dot on. All right. Now, this is what I like to practice on whenever I'm practicing with my AR, we're not gonna do too many motions. That's why I kind of threw the strap down, because, you know, why the fuck not? But we're gonna be in position, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna raise it up, line that dot where we need it, drop safety, and pull that trigger, right? All there is to it, okay? We wanna get lined up, drop safety, and shoot, all in a singular motion damn near, okay? So we're gonna start off slow. I do have my feet planted differently, you know, one in front of the other. My right foot is kind of pointing that way, and my left foot is pointing straight, okay? I don't know if you ride skateboards like that, but me personally, that's how I ride my skateboard. So hypothetically, if you're riding a skateboard like that, that's how you want to plant your feet. Obviously, a little bit more, you know, spread out, okay? So I'm gonna reset, I'm gonna raise up, line up that dot, drop safety, boom, okay? Safety back on, okay? Raise up, line it up, drop safety, boom, okay? Just run through it, okay? And you don't even have to pull your trigger for this one, okay? What you want is to make sure that you're getting that safety drop decent in the same time you line your dot up, okay? That's what we're looking for, all right? So let's forget about pulling that trigger, and let's work on dropping that safety, all right? So raise up, drop, okay? I'm just used to pulling the trigger, so that's my bad, okay? All right, raise up, boom, okay? Let's go again. Raise up, boom. This is just muscle memory, once again, okay? Raise up, boom, okay? Safety's back on, raise up, boom, okay? Raise up, boom, okay? Up, boom, okay? Up, boom, up, boom, up, boom. And even if you can get your safety up, you know, drop your safety soon as you, like, as you're in that motion, that's more or less what we want to look for too. I'm kind of just going slow just so everybody can track with me, okay? So here we go. Up. See? My dot was high on that one before I dropped the safety. That's not what we want, okay? We want to be lined up evenly on all aspects, okay? Here we go again. Boom. See, that one was a little bit smoother, a little bit smoother. Boom. 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 One was a little bit, those last three were a little bit better. All right, here we go. Boom. 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 See, that one was delayed. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for the mistakes on what we need to fix. Here we go. It's delayed again. All right, here we go. There we go. Boom. 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 Okay. All right. Let's add that trigger pull in there. Let's go. Boom. See that? Safety back on. Up. Boom. Right? Safety up. Boom. Okay. Safety on. Boom. Here we go. Safety on. Boom. Safety up. Boom. Safety up. Boom. Safety up. Boom. Okay. Safety up. Boom. Safety up. Boom. And you'll notice it as well, whenever I'm aiming down this red dot, I'm having both my eyes open, all right? You want to keep peripheral vision everywhere. You want to keep a full field of vision, okay? You don't want nobody sneaking up on side of you because you're sitting there closing one eye. That's half of your fucking eyesight going over here. I can't even see my hand right there until I bring it in to about right here, okay? Over here, no-go. Open both eyes, I can see that thing, right? Position your red dot to where you can keep both your eyes open and a full field of vision. I can see my hand all the way over here, right? You can see it all the way over here. I can even see it right there, okay? So, run it again, keep both eyes open. And that's something you need to practice shooting too, because booms are a real thing. If this thing fucking goes off, it's gonna make you wanna blink, but you wanna practice in and make sure you're keeping both your eyes open as you're shooting, so you can keep that full field of vision, okay? Let's go again. Boom. A little bit sloppy, but that's why we're practicing. Let's go. Boom. See, delayed, but we didn't follow through. Mistake on my part. Let's go. Here we go. All right. Not too difficult about that one. Not so many motions you need to practice and work on as far as the ARP, any AR for that aspect. Even if you have a 16 inch. Again, this is budget, run of the mill. You know what I'm saying? Now, I do kind of want to add the strap, and we'll fucking go like that. Okay. Let me get this thing back on. This one. Right, boom. 2 points of contact. Boom. Oh, see? Always check your gear. That one felt like it slipped in, but it wasn't locked in. Give it a nice little tug. Nice little tug, okay? Now, we're gonna throw this thing on. Boom. This is about how you want it, okay? This is obviously the most generic run of the mill as far as, you know, holding an AR, strapping it to your body, whatever. Now what I like to do personally, since I have such a short barrel, I'll wrap my arm in that strap, right? Because even then, even whenever it's sitting like that, it's still a little bit higher, sitting a little bit higher, and it should kind of help guide you a good little bit, right? Keep everything on where it needs to be. And also, I don't remember exactly where the fuck I heard this, but supposedly some of these mag pull straps are supposed to have an extra little, I think it's this right here. I just shortened it a little too much. You're supposed to be able to put your arm in there and, like, you know what I'm saying? Throw it on like that, put your arm in there, and then basically do that. But I just do it like this because I'm a little bit extra, because why not, right? All right, make sure she's reset. Smack nicotine. Let's go again. Here we go. Boom. See that? All right, let's go again. I guess the only thing you could say that would really hinder you in doing, you know, wrapping the strap like so, would be just getting to your charging handle. Because then you got to wrap back again. You know what I'm saying? Wrap back again. Wrap back again. So, if you prefer not to, we won't practice like that, okay? Here we go. I'm a little bit sloppy, right? Getting back used to the strap, okay? Here we go. Reset. Here we go. Okay, here we go. That was sloppy as fuck. All right, let's go. Muscle memory, right? That's exactly what we're practicing. Let's go. All right. That's basically gonna clean it up for the day. Okay. Got a good, about an hour. This video was, I think, about an hour on this video. Practice, practice, practice. As you've seen, we had a couple of little hiccups. Everything that we tried, that's exactly what we want, okay? We want to understand where we're fucking up. We want to understand where we're overcompensating, and we want to adjust, okay? We want to adjust on the reloads. We want to adjust on the raise up. We want to adjust on the draw, and we want to take everything into account. You've seen them a couple of times. My shirt got caught up, but most important thing you can do in that aspect is follow through, all right? I appreciate everybody who taps in. We'll get up there in the big numbers one day, but we're fucking pushing through at the moment. So peace out, man on a mission. Have a great day.